Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today playing the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. And don't you just love the look of Grimlock? He just looks fantastic, doesn't he? So yeah, so I've got Kroq-Gar on Grimlock. Because, I mean, of course I do. I mean, look at him, he's amazing. Although Mazdamundi's fantastic too, so it's tough. It's tough being, you know, playing as the Lizardman. You know, who do you pick? Anyway, so with this one, this was fun. So basically, I decided to go big on Ancient Stegodons. Yep. So I realised actually, one's a skink chief and one is a skink priest of beasts. And basically it's 2,000 quid for an ancient stegodon. Or you can spend 2,200 and get a hero, you know, on top of it. Which is fantastic, because if this will stay, let's see. Yeah, so here we go. So for an extra 200 quid you get a Flock of Doom. You get Wild Heart, so you can use Flock of Doom more. You also get a Cold-Blooded, and you get Encourage. Those are all things that Ancient Stegodons do not have. And over here, the Skink Chief, you know, Encourage and an extra Cold-Blooded. So, you know, that's fantastic. So, more healing, which is useful if you're going to bring massive monsters like this, that can actually get out of combat quite easily. You know, in order to heal, and also have loads of health and a stupid amount of armor. That extra healing, really good. You just can't go wrong. So having those extra abilities on these guys, you know, I don't have to bring a Bastillodon with Revivification Crystal, I don't need to do any of that, which is great. So it gives me a lot of extra tools. So I find it's really useful. Just an extra couple hundred quid, you know, on top of your Ancient Stegodons, and boom. So obviously, you know, frontline skink cohort, it's got to be cheap frontline, you know, when I've got two Ancient Stegodons and Kroq-Gar, you know, on Grimlock. But also, I did manage to squeeze in these two Pterodon riders with Fire Leech bowlers. These guys just have so much utility. And if we go over here, I've also got two units of Kroq-Gars. Why they're over here is basically because I wanted to ambush them with this. Because I figured if I can get these into the side or their back line, then they're just going to murder everything. And I kind of hoped that he was going to position more in the middle. He did not. He positioned over here on the hill, because of course he did. I probably should have put those Kroq-Gars over here. And then put these guys over there. But anyway, so he's chasing with Malekith. He's also got Dread Spears and Black Ark Corsairs as his front line. So, you know, some anti-large and some anti-infantry mixed in, so pretty cool. He's also got 3 units of Shades. I couldn't see these. These guys stalk. So that's quite fun. But also he's got a Death Hag. I'm not sure the Death Hag is a good pick against the Lizardman. They're great anti-infantry. I guess they do quite well against Saurus Warriors and things like that. Obviously they look great against Skinks. But then it's a very expensive unit to, you know, to bring just to kill Skinks when your Black Ark Corsairs can do it. So I'm not sure the Death Hag's the best pick in this battle, but yeah, we'll see. So anyway, he's also got the Shades, which of course have got crazy anti-armor. The stats seem to display a bit funny though. If you look, you know, armor piercing 34 missile damage. When you hover over it, it's 3 missile damage and 12 armor piercing, which seems a little peculiar. But still, that's 4/5 of the damage they do is armor piercing. So that is massive. You know, that is really big. So huge proportion of armor piercing damage there. So great for taking out big dinosaurs. And of course they stalk, so I don't necessarily see them. You know, I could charge in without realizing. And also he has these witch elves, which you know, flimsy as hell. You think, you know, big stomping dinosaurs would, you know, just clean them up, and they kind of do. But also the witch elves can make them go out of control. And if you make the big dinosaurs in the front line go out of control, you're not going to be able to charge them straight through into their ranged unit, so the Shades will be able to shoot for longer. So that's very scary. So, right, let's get the party started, shall we? So, here I'm using Fire Leech bowlers, do a little bit of damage to Malekith, but I mainly miss. And here he hits me with a Gaze of Malice. So, a lot of them get pushed over, quite a lot of HP damage, but I only lose 3 models. I could heal them, but frankly, they're not worth it. These Skinks, they're supposed to just be a bit of a distraction, while my big units do all the damage. So here I start splitting off my units so he couldn't hit me with things like that as favourably. So he completely missed with his, what's it called, Noxious Breath, isn't it? Breath attack. Here though, he does hit me with a Soul Stealer. So I try and move them away so that they both get hit. It's not going to do much to the Skinks, but still. So Kroq-Gar is going to get hit by that. It's going to do a fair bit of damage, and it's going to give Malekith some health back. So you can see, you know, it does whittle it down. But that spell would have been great, because it's quite expensive, but it would have been great to use if all these 3 units were near each other. Because it does pretty big damage to, you know, single targets, and with health pools these size, Malekith will be able to get all his health back. So he's still being chased. I've brought in my Kroq-Gars, a little bit shy here actually. I should have sent them more, you know, around the back. But I guess I wanted some backup. So I will be sending in my front line in a minute. But here, I was trying to time it because I saw his Shades moving up. I was trying to time it to get as good a Flock of Doom as possible. So this is overcast. So I'm just overcasting it every time. So obviously chance of miscasting, but I mean look at that damage. That's some pretty solid damage, you know, on 4 of their units, and that is just so useful. Unfortunately, my Kroq-Gars did take a lot of fire, and Malekith has sort of caught these guys, but they managed to skirmish away. So here, I'm charged in, so get hit with another Gaze of Malice. But over here, I realise these guys aren't moving. He's not on top of his micro. So I bring all my skinks in to this bit down at the bottom of the hill. So I use Hand of the Gods on Malekith, do a bit of extra, bit of extra damage. He has taken a lot of damage so far, for very little gain. He's done some damage to skinks, but that is it. So here I do come in for the Death Hag nice and quickly with Kroq-Gar. He's got anti-large, so he will mess up this Death Hag, quite frankly. So they are pulling their shades back, but one unit has already been terrified, and the other one is super damaged. This one's getting pretty damaged, and here, basically trying to help these skinks out partly here. Although I do hit a load of other units with another overcast Flock of Doom. So that's really useful. So my Pterodons are going to start flying around annoying people. They're still shooting at Malekith, but you see he's got some of his health back. He used another Soul Stealer. So here I've got my Kroq-Gars, on these shades. I'm bringing in the Skink Priest as well. Now finally Murderous Prowess does trigger, which is a little bit worrying, because as you can see a lot of my skinks are really, really hurt. So that's a bit of a shame. But I've managed to hold up all these units for very cheap, And while I've dealt with some of his more, sort of serious threats, such as the Shades and the Death Hag, sort of. But anyway, so I'm on this next group of Shades. They're not going to sit and fight in here for very long. And these Shades are going to get taken out soon as well. So here, he does actually come down to try and deal with my Skink Priest, with Malekith. But of course, he's got so much health. I'm just going to sit here and finish off the Death Hag before I bother trying to react. But when I do, he's going to get in a bit of a predicament, I think. Especially with, the Shades all on top of these people, all these guys on top of each other now. Prime real estate for a Flock of Doom. Oh look, I did a Flock of Doom, so more damage. I've got these guys shooting with the back, so that's not going to be good for their morale. I'm moving the other Pterodon Riders over the top, so I can bombard them. So there we go. Big rock bombards there. So that's fantastic. So Malekith, I charged with, my 3 big monsters. And yeah, he just got really, really damaged. So he's trying to get out of there. He's still getting shot as he runs. And I've got a load of units coming back, including Kroq-Gars. And I don't know where my other ones went. Are they in this fight? Yes, they must be in this fight somewhere. Yeah, there they are. So, yeah. And it gets a bit crazy. So I'm actually going to pause it here. Because I want to... Actually, I can't see his leadership bar, can I? Oh, because he's already shattered. Okay, where is someone with leadership? Okay, he's got it, but that's not as good. Actually, yes, this does show it. So, obviously, army losses triggered, right? Which is what does a lot of the damage. And, friends routing, that's how you get a chain route going. Damage sustained. But the thing is with damage sustained is it seems to have a sort of diminishing effect over time. So, if you hit people hard and fast, right, giggity, it'll basically have a bigger effect. So, you've seen 2 units that are fairly well matched. They'll just fight until basically, there's only like a couple of guys left standing. Whereas if you just hit something with everything and drop half its health, in like a second, they'll run away. So that has, diminishing effect. But of course, once it turns into this mosh pit, I use things like the Fire Leech bowlers, raining fire down on everyone for some splash damage. I hit them with the boulders that I drop. I get a Flock of Doom on top of them. That's a lot of damage very suddenly on a lot of units. And that allows terror to come into play as well from my big dinosaurs, so that really helps. And also, if we look at this, it says here, damaged by artillery, -10 leadership. That's the Fire Leech bowlers. They count as artillery. So, at least I think they do. Or, it's possibly these ranged units. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure the rocks count as artillery. And, yeah, they also just don't like getting shot at. Yeah, under missile fire. Okay, so I think the rocks are artillery, and then any other missile fire is missile fire. But either way, you can basically just stack a load of debuffs like that really well. So so that's that. So there we go, Pyrrhic victory. But yeah, that's why this works so well, I think. You get the terror and the Fire Leech bowlers. Basically, they get ignored. They just get ignored in this matchup. Because, what armor piercing you have, you're gonna try and take out the gigantic dinosaurs. Because obviously the gigantic dinosaurs are very threatening. But, as long as you can just focus down their armor piercing, then your massive units are going to be okay. They're going to survive through it. I didn't actually have to use a single cold-blooded in that. I didn't have to heal these guys up once, which is amazing. And it basically just meant the Pterodon riders, they're ignored. Because, if you've got ranged units, you're going to go for these guys. You're not going to go for these. And it just allows the Pterodon riders to be really useful at the end. Because you can just come in, saving your big rocks till the end of the battle, hit them all with it, and that's 10 leadership gone, as well as a load of damage, so they're going to get hit by, damaged unit or whatever. Debuff, so they're just going to get hit by loads of stuff that'll affect their leadership. And then the Fire Leech bowler's throwing in as well, just everything. It all stacks, just amazingly. So, once it does turn to a mosh pit at the end, when you've basically just got the big units and they're trying to throw everything at them, you can just basically just route them all. It's amazing. It is so useful. So I really like this build. It's got a lot of tools. I think, obviously, if the Dark Elves had brought like a load of Black Guard of Nagarond or something, I would have had a lot more trouble. I probably just wouldn't have got in the fight. I would have just used all my Winds of Magic on Flocks of Doom on them and tried to probe a bit. But yeah, it could have been really tough. But then, still a tough matchup with the Shades. They are very good at whittling away big dinosaurs. It is so much armor piercing. So yeah, so I really like this build actually. But I think the Death Hag was probably a waste of money. I just don't see a place for it in this matchup really. But then I haven't seen it fight against Saurus Warriors a whole lot, so maybe that's why he brought it. Because yeah, I'm not sure how she fares against Saurus Warriors. I imagine fairly well. So yeah, so maybe. If anyone's tried that, then yeah, let me know. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.